All right. So, welcome everybody, and thank you for coming to the Helium Foundation membership kickoff. Certainly, I was saying, see plenty of familiar names, familiar faces. So happy to have you all here. We're all here because we're excited about decentralized wireless. We're excited about the promise of a more connected world. For some of you, Helium's had a positive impact on your business and your organization. Some of you are here because the idea of connecting the world in ubiquitous wireless aligns with your personal values and goals. I expect it's a mix for most of us. Creating economic value, building out a utility that's a net good for the world is a very nice way to spend time. So appreciate you all joining us and kind of sharing in this vision together. So I want to kick things off with a little bit of background first, and talk a little bit of kind of foundation origin. Then we'll have Brandon and Amy, and I think Nikki as well, talk about some of the work Foundation has been doing around kind of stakeholder support, growing the network. Joey's going to jump in, talk a little bit around some technical priorities. We'll talk a little bit about 2024 outlook. We'll have some time for Q&A, but we will kick off from there. And if you want to throw questions in the chat, please feel free. We will get to them later, probably during Q&A, but feel free to post those in there. So as far as background, I think most of you are plenty familiar with Helium's origin story, but for the sake of context, company that's now Nova Labs started Helium as a centralized model about 10 years ago. The goal of improving IoT connectivity. Came to realize what we already know: centralized wireless infrastructure is very expensive and cumbersome and hard to build and maintain. Fast forward to 2019, and Helium launched as a decentralized network in Austin, Texas. Skipping some of the other nuanced details, in 2020, in order to make sure the network would remain credit neutral as it scaled, and that the idea that Nova would not have any centralized control over the protocol, over token economics. A few folks that would ultimately form the Foundation Board of Directors began to run the governance process, completely distinct from Nova Labs. That was about 2020. The Decentralized Wireless Foundation that we operate from today was formally incorporated in 2021 as a US-based 501c6. Nova provided the seed capital through donations to stand up operations. A few other organizations also stepped up in the early days to support prior to any real formalized membership program. So thanking some of the folks on the call, RAC, Nebra, Parley Labs, sincere thank you again to those organizations, and some others I may be forgetting, who really were eager to make sure the foundation was supported from a capital perspective. So we'll come back around, but really just want to re-clarify, since day one, Foundation has had a distinct board of directors, separate leadership from Nova Labs, and as a 501c6, our structure is similar to a business league or chamber of commerce, if you will. So our interests are your interests. We want to make sure that our stakeholders and ultimately our members are commercially successful, and how we are creating a net good, if you will, and kind of benefiting. Our mandate really falls under the idea that we're benefiting the wireless industry and its beneficiaries, which are effectively, it's the global population, if you will. So from a mandate perspective, as the nonprofit, we want to better connect the world by growing the network. We want to educate the public on the benefits of decentralized wireless. If you think about that around, economic benefit, civic and municipal benefits, resource efficiency, and really making sure that message is out there and that we deliver on the promise. Our role as the foundation, the way that we have looked at this, and I don't think this has changed too much, is number one, stewarding governance. So the community call that we've been running for years is one of the kind of pillar roles that we function. Two, expand and improve the ecosystem. So This includes things like network tools, products of value, like a public console, if you will, community management. So really making sure we're facilitating productive and constructive discussions and bringing new folks into the fold from all corners of the world. Robust documentation and developer education. Third bucket that I would say for our role is educate and inform. So really driving the overall network narrative, the utility and value, overseeing communications for the network, empowering the community. So while we run a lot from Foundation, we want to make sure we're giving large stakeholding organizations, enthusiasts, and individuals around the world the tools to continue to spread the good word of what Helium is doing, how it benefits businesses, and as well as the public sector and NGOs. And the last thing, as far as the Foundation's role, I would say, is kind of driving technical development. So think about that as protocol management, maintenance, and then other kind of products of value in terms of how we think about, and I'd say from a technical perspective as well as growth, how do we think about what is the utopian front-end experience? How do we reduce friction for users, for builders, and where we can kind of drive that from an engineering perspective. So I think that kind of covers it on background. I don't want to drone on too much. Obviously, we can cover any of the gaps I might have missed in Q&A, but I just want to thank everybody again for coming, supporting the Foundation and the work that we're doing. Very excited to kick this program off in earnest with a lot more structure than we have tried to do in the past. So for the next item on the agenda, if she's managed to get in, Brandon, are you here? Joey, did we get her in?
I am here.
Wonderful. I would love to hand it off to you. Brandon is the Foundation's head of communications, for those who haven't connected with her. And talk a little bit about what we've been up to, where we're going from a narrative and contact perspective, and how we keep growing, how we grow the network and make sure we're doing our best to benefit all of you.
Hello, everyone. I apologize for the video version of me. I am on my phone. I was having some technical difficulties with the computer, so you'll have to deal with this Blair Witch Project version of me. But I'll do my best to keep a steady hand. I'm Brandon, head of communications at the Foundation. I'm glad to be here, really excited about this membership program that we have going at the Foundation, and really excited to share some good news with you on the communications, public relations, events front, marketing, social media. List goes on and on of all the exciting things that we have planned for the membership program moving forward this year and in 2024. So let me get started, certainly with the promotion piece of it. We want to tell your stories, right? And we want to spread the good news about all of your stories, your products, the Helium network, the products you're building, the things on the ecosystem. And we think that storytelling is a great way to do it. So we started by hiring a new PR firm. And we think that one of the great strategies to do that is through brand awareness. And through the PR firm, driving brand awareness, we want to elevate the member organizations, and that's you all. So everybody has a story, right? And so let's tell it together. And so this gives us an opportunity to have more resources. And with those resources, we have more time to better engage with you, and we can elevate your news. So let's create some marketing campaigns. So we've already started to do that. I hope you're starting to see it if you're following us on all of our social media channels, Twitter, YouTube, please follow us on all of those channels. We're getting a little feedback. Follow us on all of those channels, but if you have co-marketing opportunities, please reach out to us if you are joining us as a member or considering coming part of our membership program. We want to start to explore more of those and do those things with you. So co-marketing is an opportunity. case studies. So writing those case studies together and publishing those and using them to pitch media and journalists is an opportunity that we're going to start to do more of. We started to do a couple of them. We're going to do more. We're going to create those opportunities. We want to highlight your product features. What new products are you creating? How can we capitalize on those? How can we publicize them? We have blogs in addition to our social media channels, all of those good things. We want to push those out there. We want to write press releases. That's something new that we started the end of 2023 here. We want to continue into 2024. It's working and we want to do more of it. So let's keep doing it. Anything, any news, any business progress, we can turn that on and continue that into press release features and moving forward. Pitching the media, and not just traditional media, right? New media, podcasts, bloggers, vloggers, influencers, all kinds of folks are out there these days. New media is what I call them, and you'll hear many PR folks call them new media today. So all kinds of influencers, vloggers, podcasts, really niche folks that you can find that have built a community of followers that trust those people and follow them, that can help drive people to purchase, to read, to watch, to listen, and drive folks and build awareness for the ecosystem, and certainly our members' products is important and helps build awareness. So we want to do more of that. And that's something that we're focusing on in 2024. Social media, of course, you can't do enough, right? Like, it works. So let's do more of it. Helium brands and foundation have built over the years big followings. So let's capitalize and do more of those. So I'm going to tease right now. We are cooking something up right now that we'd love all of you to be a part of. We want to come up with a pretty cool holiday gift guide marketing campaign that we're working on. We'd love all of you to be a part of it. I'll just drop that there as a little nugget. But we're cooking something up. If you're interested, please email us marketing@, helium.foundation. But I'll just tease that there. But we're cooking something up there. Would love all the members to be a part of it. But we'll keep you posted. We'll give you more details. But we'd love to put together a pretty cool holiday gift guide campaign that we're working on for December. But ideas like that, right? Those are the types of things we're going to be working on with the PR Foundation. So it's just not your traditional, social media, press hits, press releases, and all types of those things. We want to come up with really creative campaigns too that would include the members moving forward and different types of push.
Yoni, how you doing?
So very excited about those opportunities as well. And then lastly, I think most of you all know at this point, we have a very large following on Discord. It's a great way that our community has engaged with us, and very excited that they have continued to stay with us and communicate with us on Discord. So one of the opportunities that members will get if they come on board with us is you will get your own specific channel in Discord. So what that means for you is you get exclusive access to Foundation member staff and team members. You get that one-on-one interaction to get your answers, your questions answered, access, and possibly ongoing network updates, and just kind of that one-on-one interaction with the team, and that just kind of exclusive specific channel. So definitely a exclusive perk to get in the community and your own channel. So wanted to bring that back and give that as a special perk to you all. So lots of really unique perks given to you, but really excited about the storytelling piece of it, because after being here for a short while and looking at all the amazing partners that you all are, you just have really unique stories, and they need to be told, and we want to elevate those and continue to push them out there more. That said, events is a huge part of the foundation and part of the team that I work on here. And Nikki is new to the comms and promotion and marketing team here. And I wanted to give him the opportunity to introduce himself and talk about all the amazing events that you could also be a part of that we have planned for 2024. So without further ado, Nikki, you want to take over and talk about all the cool things we have planned that the members could get involved with in 2024 with us?
Sure thing. Thanks, Brandon. It's great to be here today to meet everyone here. I see some familiar faces and many new faces. So those people that I've not met before, I'm Nikki, and I head up everything to do with events here over at the Helium Foundation. I believe that events drive sales and help in brand building. So looking forward to heading up everything with all our partners here to look at the 2024 event strategy. Our focus for 2024 is on building the IoT business, and that includes verticals such as smart cities, smart agriculture, environmental monitoring, logistics, supply chain, and smart water monitoring, to name a few of the key areas that I'm sure everyone in here works within. When we believe our resources are better allocated to events where these verticals are the topic of conversation. So if you look at the agenda notes, you will see many more IoT and smart city conferences that we plan on targeting for 2024. Some of these are great exposure, such as CES in Las Vegas, Embedded World in Germany, Telecoms World in Dubai, IoT Tech in Amsterdam, and across all these events, we can hit many different continents. So that's not to say leadership won't be attending select blockchain events such as Consensus, Token 2049, and Mainnet. We just see that we can all better grow our audiences currently at some of the smart city events. If you find anything is missing from the list, do of course let us know, and we can get that added into the list. And if there's something on the list that you think you'd like to be part of that we're attending and co-sponsor, reach out to us at marketing@helium.foundation, and we can work towards doing some cool stuff together at these events going forward. I look forward to working with everyone going forward. Keep it short and sweet. Events, let's do this.
Amazing. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Brandon. Amy, we'd love to turn over to you, talk a little bit about where we have been supporting stakeholders historically, and we're going to be ramping up. So a little bit around kind of support and services and some of the stuff that you've been working on.
Sure, yeah. Hi, everybody. I think I've crossed paths or worked with a lot of you in the past. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a business development manager at the Helium Foundation. So I focus a lot of efforts on that education and advocacy piece that Scott previously mentioned. So working really closely with companies that could benefit from utilizing decentralized networks and getting in front of new audiences and helping introduce people to the technology and connecting them with the right people in our ecosystem that can address their needs, and really just helping facilitate successful projects on the Helium network. Just general support as people get onboarded, thinking about how that relates to membership and collaboration and coordination. We really do serve the Helium community. So working more closely with stakeholders, representing different parts of that entire ecosystem, I think is really essential to closing the loop on identifying and addressing pain points and enabling those stronger working relationships between our team and member organizations, but also between member organizations as a whole. And then making sure that everyone can stay up to date on what it is that we're working on, and also contribute and to advancements in different focus areas where your products or services are really well aligned. So when we think about benefits and services and tools, we do work with companies to identify those pain points and make sure they're addressed. We want to do it better, and we want to do it more efficiently, and we want to do it alongside those of you that are out there deploying solutions and interacting with it every day. So we want to take that constant feedback and implement solutions on our end to help make all of that better. So Just a quick example. Recently, we've been hearing from companies that they're still having trouble handling crypto, whether that's regulatory reasons or company policy, or it's just adds friction to their internal processes. It's super important that it's addressed, especially as we work with more and more traditional companies around the world that aren't native in this space. And it affects roaming partners and LNS hosts and even makers for onboarding gateways. So taking a problem like that and making sure we can address it short term, where we'll off the bat be able to offer traditional payment methods for things like wallet funding. And then longer term, seeing how we can take issues like that and build it into the product roadmap to continue on our mission to make everything as seamless as possible so that users can really feel completely confident in utilizing Helium end-to-end for solutions and network build out. So yeah, and then lastly, Brandon kind of quickly went over this, but how can we better unite efforts to focus on key verticals? So working with partners in comm strategy and campaigns and business development work, and featuring these products as we go about increasing awareness and trust within these verticals, doing it alongside partners with flagship products. So that's my quick overview, and I will turn it over to, I think Joey is next.
Cool. Yeah, this is a fun call, seeing all these familiar faces. I think I've chatted with just about everyone that's on here at some point. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what 2024 looks like for us from a product perspective. And so this is a fairly wide-ranging. I'm actually going to share a document here. So let folks poke around. I think here we go. Anyone with the link should be able to view. I'll do it this way. So we've delivered a bunch of things in the past year or 2 years. Everything, Amy alluded to this challenge of acquiring data credits. We worked with a third-party organization to build a platform to simplify that for a subset of users. There's all sorts of tools like that where we have this really cool opportunity to make the Helium network easier to use, frankly, to make LoRaWAN easier to use, or to make it more impactful in sort of everyday deployments. And so this document that I just shared out sort of breaks down a couple of key focus areas, and you'll notice these are things that we've talked to, or other folks on the team have talked to sort of throughout this call. We're a very close-knit team in that regard. We're all sort of focused on the same things here. This is ranging from protocol to network analysis, network permanence, and I'll sort of go into each of these a little bit to explain them more. But they are all things that are important to the longevity or success of the Helium network. So on the protocol side, we've gone through some pretty significant changes in the past year. Early this year, we migrated to Solana and have this new Oracle informed infrastructure. And so there's a lot of things that we can do going forward to further decentralize that system and make it more robust and accessible for a variety of users. And I won't go into deep in the details because I will absolutely nerd snipe myself, and I won't stop talking about decentralization. On the network analysis side, there's some really, really exciting opportunities for us to start showing how the Helium network is the biggest, most stable network of any LoRaWAN network out there. Right now, our Network Explorer shows locations of hotspots, and that shows it in a roughly kilometer-wide hexagon, right? And as everyone on this call probably knows, LoRaWAN reaches much, much further than that little hexagon that we showed that in. And so taking the approach of modeling that coverage, overlaying that coverage, we can start to tell really strong stories of the signal strength that's available in any one region, whether somebody can expect a sensor to work indoors or outdoors or in a basement or not, the redundancy that's available in those areas, and of course, just the overall coverage of how that network should be available to be utilized. There's deeper things to do in oracle analysis, so working to reveal the inner workings of the network, and we've seen community members do really good job of this. Helium Geek, Hotspotty, we have Relays shortly going to be releasing a new Explorer, and so there's more that the Helium Foundation can also do. We've seen analytics in Dune with on-chain data, and we'd like to start doing the same thing for off-chain data through those oracles. And then just a little bit rank ordered here, there's some exciting things coming up for mappers. I'm throwing this in as my personal little pet project all the time. But there's a bunch of cool opportunity to start pulling in other sources of data. And furthermore, to start opening that data up for the community to do their own analysis with, which has been a long requested feature there. And that'll take some work, but it's, I think, a pursuit worth following. Let me break apart network permanence a little bit. And so we've gone through a number of changes through the course of the network, going from Nova Labs, Helium Inc. Being the first hotspot manufacturer to third-party hotspots and third-party wallet apps, or sort of hotspot management apps. We have recognized that there's some challenges in that, and making sure that those apps stay to a sort of user experience quality that we would all expect. And so to make sure that that user experience remains good, we've brought a lot of those features back into the Helium Wallet app. And that's to no insignificant amount of work, a lift to make sure that that is successful. And so there's more work to do on that front to ensure that hotspots are easy to operate, that they stay online, and that folks have a simple and straightforward user experience in front of them when they set out to deploy new coverage. I'm flying through this, so hopefully some of this is landing. The other thing that I'll touch on in this network permanence thing is some opportunities that we have around simplifying the on-chain transactions, particularly through the Helium Wallet app. There's been some confusion with needing SOL. 0.02 SOL is become a meme in the network, and we can make that effectively invisible through some sort of clever work on the protocol side and the app side. And so those are other sort of low-hanging fruits for us in the coming year to make that user experience easier and make sure that those hotspots stay online and that folks stay happy. Diving into education and advocacy, this is frankly an area where I spend quite a bit of time these days. And so through the migration, through the sort of architecture changes, and frankly, the higher demand that we're seeing for LNS operations and roaming partners, the opportunity to make our documentation much more robust is frankly sort of an exciting one. And there's some really neat things that we can do here. So already we've seen, just in the past couple of weeks, we've rolled out new documentation for the OpenLNS initiative, and sort of walks through what it would take to run ChirpStack on the Helium network. Similarly, we've rolled out guides for data-only hotspots, and of course, bringing data-only hotspots back into the protocol is a piece of that story. But then going forward, we have things like Foundation Console, and there's a future path for that where I think we can make that frankly more embedded into documentation. So if you can imagine a scenario where you jump into docs and you're able to provision a device and build a device right inside that documentation, those are things that are starting to become real and an opportunity for us to serve the community, both Helium and the broader LoRaWAN ecosystem, to better understand this technology and keep building on it. So I would be happy to answer any questions in any of this. I know I threw a lot of content out there, but we're working on a wide surface area, and we want to make sure that we deliver the best quality we can through all of it.
Amazing. Thank you, Joey, for giving us the rundown there. And yes, certainly want to make sure we can get to some of the Q&A. Quick check-in, did everybody get that forms link? That should be working now. So I can turn video back on. If not, we can repost that one more time, but that is open and working. So if you could just add name, email, organization, just want to make sure we can follow up with everybody here to be posted on updates and next steps for the membership program. All right, so I just want to kind of very quickly rehash a lot of things that we've covered. I know there's been a lot in the last 30 minutes. So as far as how we're looking ahead, you know, I kind of think the two big things that we're really focused on as a foundation, how we benefit members. So one is, you know, really how are we thinking about a stronger network pipeline, boosting awareness, building trust. Amy, Brandon, Joey, Nick, I think everything has been covered around brand building, case studies, an increased presence in key verticals, and want to make sure we are doing that in a way that obviously sustains the network and more devices, more traffic, great for network sustainability, but how this directly benefits members, your business organizations, and the individuals who have been instrumental in helping to build this network. I will say that, you know, we're very excited about the growth potential for both the IoT and mobile networks, but from a resource perspective, the foundation's really spending more time and energy on IoT, mostly just given the diversity of use cases and applications. There's a lot of ground to cover. On the mobile side, very excited to see the progress that Nova Labs has with Helium Mobile. It's a fantastic flagship product. But just so you all know, from the foundation perspective, most of our time and energy is very much geared towards IoT around events and how we're kind of building out that stronger pipeline. The second thing is, how do we think about continuing to improve the overall network experience? So once we have a very strong pipeline, how do we make sure the Helium network and all of the products and services you're providing are very, very sticky. So from our side, you know, that includes documentation, public tools, improvements to the wallet. I'm personally really excited about how we can really work together around delightful front-end experiences for end users, and how we can start to kind of encourage and grow the pie around new applications that can either run on the network, leverage your products and services, and where this is really can be a tide raising all boats type of initiative there. So really excited about 24. Please definitely take a look at the events if there are ones that you want to start to discuss. I know we're all in budget planning mode for next year. So if there's anything you definitely plan to attend and we want to partner, co-sponsor, please reach out. You know, if you're in touch with Nikki directly, that's always best, but we'll actually pop in just membership at helium.foundation will get you to all of us. If one of the folks on the team can just drop that in the chat so everybody has it. But really excited about the year to come and working with all of you. So the last thing I will also say, as far as this is really the way that we look at membership, and that I kind of think about is, this is really a lot of the coordination layer for you know, network growth, product growth. And while we are certainly going to continue to evolve and optimize the protocol for scale, that is really something that is going to still continue to run through the governance process, through community calls. But I'm really looking forward to how we can think about the membership program as arguably one of the strongest off-chain venues for building consensus. So having a group that is still very much aligned from an economic perspective and excited about growth, to be thinking about what are the things that we can, as almost a subgroup, bring back to the community call, and new proposals that we can all discuss as a broader community. So I'll stop there. I know we discussed an awful lot. Any questions that we can answer in an open public forum, but certainly please, to whatever degree we can have some more one-on-one discussions, happy to do that. Really, for the next few months, we want to make sure we are helping to onboard new members, get them into the program, please take a look at the link on the website. Again, the team can pop that in. Some of the different tiers and benefits are all on the website, but want to make sure everybody has access directly to the foundation team and how we can make sure we're benefiting you and your organization. So why don't we kind of pause and open up for questions? Yep, Christo, please go ahead.
Hi, I hope you hear me because I'm a little bit driving.
Yep.
But I would like to ask a couple of things. First, about the events, I actually quite did not understand what is the concept of the events generally from the point of Helium Foundation. Because from my point of view, the foundation should have been attending events with really good presence already for 2-3 years. But never mind what's going to happen from now on and how does the potential members concerned.
Yep, happy to answer that. And I think that really we've really in the last few months had a conversation about how we're shifting our events strategy overall to be very focused on IoT verticals specifically. So while in the past we may have had more resources and time at some of the kind of more crypto focused events, making sure we're educating those ecosystems and helping folks to understand where Helium has kind of a broader benefit for the crypto side of the industry, spending a lot more of our focus on places where we can help facilitate business development for some of the organizations here, talk about where Helium has a benefit from a utility perspective for especially the public sector that is just starting to get familiar with what a decentralized network is. We definitely have to expel any sort of like uncertainty or misunderstanding around the crypto components. So a lot more focus on that. So I would say there's, how can we get press? I mean, Brandon and Nikki can speak this a little bit more, but press conferences, booths, side events where we can curate a more targeted audience, speaking engagements where it's not just necessarily the Helium Foundation speaking, but where can we pull in all of you to not just talk about some of the use cases and some of you, but making sure we're highlighting your products and your services because that's a win for everybody. So it is it's a refocusing effort on our side, but that's how we're looking at it going forward is where can we make sure we're educating around the network about promoting your organizations and the things that you're building of value. Brandon and Nikki, anything else you want to add on to that?
No, I also have speaking.
No, sorry.
No,
I have also a question to Brandon as well, and it was for the marketing support part. If I suppose that maybe half of the people, or at least some part of people that are here and that are building very good use cases on top of Helium, maybe will not become members for one reason or another. Would that mean that if they are not members, they will not receive any technical nor marketing support from now on when the membership program launches?
So I'm happy to jump in on that. And what I would tell you is, look, we want to make sure we are providing as much technical support as we possibly can and thinking about how we obviously scale that through documentation. Obviously we have finite resources in the team to do that. And we are naturally going to have to prioritize the organizations and people that are also providing financial support to make sure that we can be sustained as an organization. So it's not that necessarily, yes or no, it's more that just in terms of prioritization around our time and our resources, the teams that are helping to fund foundation operations are going to be, those folks are just going to get our attention a little bit earlier and faster, but we'll try to do our best for the broader community, of course. Kevin, to your question, will the foundation accept HNT as payment for membership? Yes, we will. And we can get you more details on that later. Aaron, I see your question. How does the IoT network compete with 1663 and the inherent commercial advantages they have? So that is kind of one of the reasons for Foundation exists, to be honest, is how do we make sure, how are we spreading the benefit around? How are we spreading the wealth? So as we think about pipeline development, how do we make sure, the bulk of that is not going to a single organization, how we're making sure that we can share again, this is one of the areas where trademark licensing, association with the Helium network, how we're going to be able to provide that for members, but also making sure that we are elevating and kind of doing brand building and boosting the presence of all of you so we can make as equal of a playing field as possible. That is the ambition. Obviously, there's nuance around that, but the idea is, how are we really kind of creating as much equal benefit as possible through our mandate? Anything else? Other questions? By the way, that is my email. If anybody wants to send me anything that's more one-to-one, I'm more than happy to set up time, whether async or we can jump on a call. Anything else? We are seeing an interest in location trackers using the Helium network. Is there any plan to enhance the reliability of hotspot location to get the location via trilaterals? Joey, can I throw you at this one?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things.
But you might have some more precise ones. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Refinements to proof of coverage is probably the thing to touch on most here. And so ensuring that when hotspots are asserted, that they are asserted in a highly accurate way. And furthermore, that the altitude of the elevation of the antenna and the gain of the antenna is appropriately set. There are some really neat things. I don't know if these are going to be 2024 objectives. I didn't include them on this roadmap, but starting to include data from mappers to validate the locations of gateways and basically make much more robust coverage maps through that sort of cross-combined testing. Unfortunately, like for the hardware that's deployed, TDOA is a little bit of a challenge. That could be an opportunity for a future set of gateways, and those we've heard discussions around those being sort of anchor gateways on the network, and I think that's a really interesting opportunity for Helium as well. Yeah, as is, there's a sort of a number of data sets and resources to do multilateration. It varies based on terrain, the accuracy that you'll get there, but it's something that a lot of teams I know are working on. Hopefully that answers the question in a sort of short enough way.
Cool, thank you, Joey. Any follow-up on that or other questions?
Hey, Scott, quick question for you. How do things look moving forward, with the foundation, with the group of people that are on this call right now? For example, we were all invited on here for the first call and kind of the introduction here. In order for things to continue, is in a sense, is membership required? If membership, if we don't jump in and join immediately here, what do you kind of foresee as the near future for everybody on the call here? How urgent is jumping on this, and kind of what are your feelings moving forward?
Yeah, so I would say that, look, as far as foundation operations go, we were seeded from Nova Labs originally. We've had some other contributions along the way, but membership is a pretty important revenue stream for us. Now, look, it's a newer program. We ended up dropping pricing for 2024 with the idea of how can we make it a much easier, simpler conversation for folks to come in. And we want to spend 2024 showing as much of that as possible in terms of how we're delivering value, how we're supporting members and stakeholders. It's going to be a really big focus for us because that's going to be an important revenue stream to sustain our operations over the long term. with that, look, what I would say is, I don't want folks to feel like there's a hard cutoff here of like, hey, if you don't contribute, you're just not going to hear from us. But look, as far as the work that needs to be done, both on protocol side, product side, making sure we're really out there evangelizing, getting the narrative out, educating folks appropriately, the more help we can have in that, the better. And some of that is from financial contributions, and some of it is just like close collaboration. So look, I don't think it's necessarily a black and white answer. We would love to have as much support, but we also want to make sure we're still working in collaboration with teams that are really bringing a lot of value to the network and helping to kind of grow the pie overall. As far as outlook beyond that, there's some of those macro forces that we can't tell, but we're very, we're heads down, we're building. We've got, I'm really excited about a lot of the stuff that is starting to pick up traction in the IoT side. We've had a lot of really exciting conversations with large organizations in the public sector. I just want to do more of it. So
awesome. Perfect
Joey,
answer.
you want to jump in? Oh, sure.
Well, yeah, I wanted to add one little thing, which is Amy and I talk to a lot of these organizations, and there's a lot of a like wait and see mentality for the folks that aren't using Helium. And so I think this membership program is a really neat opportunity to show the community and the ecosystem of companies that are building on the network and solving problems and building those businesses. And that's going to go a huge, huge way into sort of snowballing that adoption. And so I think hitting the ground running is, there's a lot to be said for it.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Joey.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. One more reminder, I'm just going to harp on it. I just dropped the link again. I saw about, I think 28 or so people who've given info. No, there's about 46 in the call. Please just add, love to follow up, chat a little bit more about what's come down the pipe next and keep you all updated. So if you can just make sure you add your details before we hop off. But I got a few more minutes if there's any other questions. All right. Well, thank you very much for everybody who came in, giving us an hour of the day today. Next steps, number one, become a member. Check out the details on the website. It's right on the agenda, right at the bottom. If you have any questions, please get in touch directly to me. Membership@helium.foundation. If you've got any other questions you want to work through, or anything you're excited about for 24 with events, let's start planning and budgeting for that now. We're going to host another call. I'll get on the calendar. But for folks here, Thursday, November 30th at noon Eastern, for more of the kind of North America, Western Europe general contingent. Going to talk a little bit more about some specific growth initiatives, dig in on some of the events more specifically, think about some stuff on the product side, and just start kicking off 24 work now. So thank you all for coming in again and supporting from the membership side. Let's keep going.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Cheers.